ROSATOM offers assistance to embarking countries in the development and implementation of the nuclear power program. After all, the responsibility for this program lies on the embarking country, and in order to reduce the risks in the implementation of the plans and projects, it is necessary to create an adequate nuclear infrastructure. Of course, each country makes the decision on the goals and structure of its program independently, but it is always better to know in advance the difficulties to be encountered. The program covers the development of key elements: selection of nuclear technology, development of human resources, development of necessary legislation, national security requirements, environmental protection, radioactive waste management, safeguards, and much more. According to the IAEA methodology, there are 19 such interrelated elements, and each is important for successful implementation in the country of the nuclear facility construction project. The embarking countries often face the common problem. It is important to remember that the establishment of a nuclear infrastructure must be ahead of the construction of a nuclear facility. If any of its elements, for example, lack of the regulatory framework, unpreparedness of public perception, grid availability, and other important factors, are not ready for a certain stage, this can seriously affect timing, quality, and cost of the project up to its cancellation. While there is no ready nuclear infrastructure, the nuclear program is very vulnerable. To avoid such errors, it is necessary to involve the professionals who know everything about the nuclear industry. Russian nuclear power industry was born in 1954. Currently, the state corporation ROSATOM unites about 450 enterprises and scientific institutions, including machine building and electricity generation divisions, as well as research organizations. The nuclear industry employs over 300,000 employees. They are the ones who ensure the stable performance of the nuclear power industry. We help our partners to implement their programs on peaceful use of the atomic energy in such areas as planning in the field of nuclear power, establishment of a national position and foundation in the country of the agencies and organizations for the nuclear industry, management of nuclear fuel and radioactive waste, nuclear security and IAEA safeguards, involvement in the project of local industry and organization of procurement, radiation and environmental protection, grid development, NPP site selection, emergency preparedness and response, planning the development of personnel policy for the entire nuclear power program, exchange of operational experience, establishment of an independent regulatory authority, interaction with stakeholders and study of the public opinion, funding and establishment of the funds, development of the legislative framework. Our specialists are ready to share their knowledge and experience, to suggest the complex places of the project. We have beyond 70 years of Russian experience in design development, equipment manufacturing, construction, operation and decommissioning of nuclear power plants and research reactors. This allows us to confidently offer our services, ensure and guarantee their high-quality implementation. ROSATOM renders consulting services and sends its experts to the partner countries. An expert or group of experts will analyze and assess the current status of the country's nuclear infrastructure, and on its basis will give the recommendations to the partner country. Based on these recommendations, the country will be able to develop its own policy, strategy, as well as national development plans for each element of the nuclear infrastructure. Experts will render their assistance in such key areas as emergency preparedness, nuclear and radiation safety, nuclear legislation, accounting and control of nuclear materials, nuclear and physical security, establishment of the operating organization, creation of national legislation, and many other issues. Consulting services can be provided both on the territory of the partner country and in the Russian Federation. ROSATOM provides assistance in elaboration of a roadmap for implementation of the plans of the partner country. The roadmap is a kind of universal tool that allows an embarking country to plan the implementation of its nuclear power program. The roadmap consists of a set of requirements for each element of the nuclear infrastructure that must be completed by a certain time by the embarking country with the support of the International Atomic Energy Agency as well as the vendor country. The roadmap is linked to the certain points of the project, such as obtaining of the siting permit, issuing a construction license, the first concrete, fuel loading, beginning of operation. ROSATOM invites managers and specialists from partner countries to its enterprises to transfer the experience, knowledge and skills. The program of scientific visits is a unique opportunity to implement and obtain information in the relevant fields of knowledge of nuclear energy. During such visits, national leaders have the opportunity to meet with the officials of the state corporation ROSATOM, the concern Rosenergo-Atom, visit the leading enterprises and nuclear power plants of Russia, get acquainted with the practice of operation of nuclear power plants, familiarize themselves with the practice of radioactive waste management, system of accounting and control of nuclear materials. They can get advice in various areas of development of nuclear energy. ROSATOM organizes training programs for senior and middle-level managers responsible for development of national programs, as well as for specialized technical specialists. The Technical Academy of State Corporation ROSATOM is a recognized competence center for training of the personnel for the nuclear infrastructure of the embarking countries. The staff of the Academy, in cooperation with the experts of the State Corporation ROSATOM, have prepared educational and methodological materials dedicated to all elements of the nuclear infrastructure. It is possible to arrange the internship for illustration of the practical content of the offered training courses upon request of the embarking country to the State Corporation ROSATOM. It is possible to arrange business trips of the expert instructors to the territory of the partner country upon the relevant request of the customer. The classes can be conducted in both Russian and English. ROSATOM assists the partner country in the arrangement of thematic centers to ensure safety and effectiveness in implementation of the nuclear power program. The main objective of the Crisis Center is the organization of emergency assistance to nuclear power plants in the event of an accident associated with the release of radioactivity. The Crisis Center interacts with technical support centers that represent the chief designer of the reactor plants, scientific supervisor, general designers of nuclear power plants, as well as leading Russian nuclear and radiation safety institutions. The developed nuclear infrastructure is the most important precondition for the successful implementation of the country's nuclear power program. Nuclear infrastructure is not only the desire of a single country to increase its level of well-being. In 2015, the United Nations adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals. All these 17 goals of sustainable development of mankind can be achieved with the help of nuclear technology, namely nuclear power. But to have this tool of harmonizing the life of all mankind to be operable, a very good framework is needed. And the framework for this tool is the nuclear infrastructure. ROSATOM understands its high responsibility as a supplier of nuclear technologies. We assist our partners in the development of the national nuclear infrastructure in order to jointly ensure the safe and cost-effective future of nuclear energy of the whole world.